Hi guys, I hope you're doing great. So in my last video, we had spoken about e-screens and their effect on our kids. We had given you guidelines which should govern exposure of your child to e-screen as per the age. We had also elaborately told you about the kind of impact, negative impact, overexposure of these e-screen can possibly have on your child. Now in this particular video, we'll be talking about how to manage these e-screens in our lives so that their effect on our children is minimal. Because these e-screens are here to stay. This is an age of technology. We need to make some changes at our level, at the level of our kids, and at the level of our family to ensure that these e-screens have minimum negative impact on our child. Now with respect to this, my first suggestion to you, we need to practice what we preach. If we want our kids to minimize their e-screen consumption, we'll have to look at our own consumption of e-screen. If we are continuously on WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, if we have a mobile device in our hand all the time, we cannot expect our child not to ask for it. It's very simple. If you want your child not to have chocolates, if you want your child not to have those soft drinks, you can't stack them up in your home refrigerator, can you? That's not a fair ask. If you're wanting your child not to have it, you better not bring them home. I do agree that there are some parents who need to do some official work, who need to attend calls, probably make PPTs, reply to mails. I know we have all these things that we might be expected to do from home. Now in such incidences, I would want you to take a leaf from a smoker's life. Many smokers have these self-rules for them when it comes to smoking in and around their family. Many smokers decide that they'll never smoke at home. Some, if they want to smoke, they go to the house balcony, or probably they'll go to the road outside. Such kind of rules can be implemented in our lives as well. If we have some office work to do, if we have mails to reply, if we have PPTs to make, it's better we lock ourselves in a room and do it. It makes a lot of sense to follow such rules and discipline in our house if we want to keep our children safe. Now let's look at incidences when these kids come and ask us for e-screens. When they come and say, "Mama, I'm getting bored. What do I do? Can I have your phone? Can I have your tab?" This typically happens when they are at loss of what to do next. Out here, it's very important for us to plan their day, schedule their day. If need be, sit with your child and plan the kind of activities child wants to do at home. If your child is old, you can obviously take their suggestions. If the child is young, you would obviously know what they like to do. They want to play Lego, they want to do art and craft, they love to dance. Take a suggestion from there and plan a list of activities and then schedule the day as per these activities. When I say schedule, I mean flow of activity needs to be scheduled. Let's say, for example, get up in the morning, have a glass of milk, read a book, have a breakfast, do our art and craft, follow it up with a dance session, then we proceed for bath, then come back, play with our kitchen set, then go for lunch, sleep, so on and so forth right till then. If you want to schedule it to such an extent, do it. Grab a pen, grab a paper, do it and schedule it to such an extent. It's going to come in very, very handy and your life's going to be very, very easy. Now when it comes to scheduling the day, what happens is that when the child knows what activity to do next, incidences of him coming to you and saying, "Mama, what do I do?" reduce drastically. You as a mother would always have a ready reckoner in front of you when it comes to making suggestions in case the child comes to you saying, "Mama, I'm getting bored, what should I do?" This scheduling will bear its fruit only if initial days you are able to implement this schedule very, very sternly. Now let me tell you, children are very intelligent. Nobody likes to be disciplined, isn't it? So initial 2-3 days, you will have to put up a stern cap and exercise your negotiation skills. your child's gonna try level best to break the schedule. Use your skills, know how much to give and when to stop. In a couple of days, your child would have understood, mom's not agreeing to what I say, it's better I fall in line. Believe me, once they do it, once they start following a schedule, life's going to be very easy, not only for the child, but for you as well. Second instance I've seen when children come looking for an e-screen, mama where's my phone, mama where's my tab, is when they have to have food. In 90% of cases, parents very readily hand over a phone or a tab to them. I fail to understand, why is it getting so difficult for us parents to feed our kids without a YouTube? YouTube, phone, tabs were never invented as a parenting and definitely not as a feeding tool. Pause for a minute. Think. When we were young, how did our parents feed us? If need be, go to them and ask them for advice. They would probably tell you, they would make you watch out. Monkey on the tree, birds in the sky. Now my question is, why have we stopped looking at the birds in the sky when it comes to feeding our children? Convenience, convenience, convenience. For the sake of convenience, we are handing over these tabs, these phones into the hands of our children. Believe me, it's much more easy to feed a 3-year-old than it is to take this phone or this tab from the hands of a 14-year-old. Out here, I would want to give a suggestion. If your little one is already hooked to an e-screen, try and wean him off from this with the help of a book. Book which is of interest to the child. Let's say if the child likes Avengers, there are lots of comics available off the shelves. You could probably take from there. There are comics available on Avengers, there are comics available on Power Rangers, there are books of Noddy. If he likes animals, get him animal books. If he loves universe, get a book which speaks about various bodies in the universe. So get books of interest to him and try and read these books to him during mealtime so that he's able to find something engaging, because he's used to having an engaging activity at the time of food. Although it is not advisable, but initially at the time of weaning, we can try using a book for this purpose. Slowly and steadily, Avenger comics can be replaced with something more educative and informative. And that can happen over a period of time. Ideally, the situation is that a child should not be actively engaged in any other activity while eating except for having food. That's an ideal situation, but we can try our level best. Now I would want to make some suggestions on how we could bring about some changes around so that we are able to reduce exposure of our kids to electromagnetic radiations. If you remember, in my video I had mentioned that electromagnetic radiations are absorbed by young children at double the rate than in case of an adult. How do we ensure that absorption, exposure of these radiations is minimal in kids? Number one, remove any kind of device from the bedroom of your children. If they sleep with you, remove all these screens, phones, tabs from your master bedroom. That's number one suggestion. Number two, whenever you are giving these devices to your child, please ensure they're properly charged. Devices which are not charged properly attract much more electromagnetic radiations. I hope you're going to implement all these suggestions. If you like them, press the like button. If you think you have some friends who are going to benefit out of these suggestions, please share the video with them. If you have any suggestions to make, please write in a mail or mention in the comment section. We have lots of videos coming up in next couple of weeks. Do subscribe to the channel, and in the meantime, keep healthy, keep smiling.